Who's she? Who's she? Whoa. Okay, that's the thing. That's the thing that showed.
A home box.
What's a home box?
Like a black box?
Black box on a plane, except it homes. The graffiti, Old High Gallifreyan. The lost language of the Time Lord.
Whoa.
What does this say?
Go on then.
Hello, sweetie.
I love it. Oh yeah.
Party's over, Dr. Song.
Dr. Song, and she knows Gallifreyan.
Years ago is trying to attract my attention.
Mary Poppins over here. Wow, great shot.
Doctor?
River?
Follow that ship.
Stabilizers! Doesn't have stabilizers. The blue switches. Well, the blue ones don't do anything. They're just blue.
Oh?
They're blue. They're the blue stabilizers.
How about that?
Doctor, how come she can fly the
You
TARDIS?
call that flying the TARDIS? Ha!
I just landed her.
But it didn't make a noise.
What noise?
You know, the...
It's not supposed to make that noise. You leave the brakes on.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, it's a brilliant noise. I love that noise.
How about this?
Pond.
How come you can fly the TARDIS?
Oh, I had lessons from the very best.
Well,
Uh,
yeah.
It's a shame
Yeah.
you were busy that day.
Right then.
Did they land here?
Amy's expressions though.
Are you basically running away?
Yep.
Why?
Because she's the future. My future.
Can you run away from that?
I can run away from anything I like. Time is not the boss of me.
A planet out there.
Yes, of course it's a planet.
Running from the future rather than running from your past. How about that?
No survivors.
Phase shift would have to be sabotage. I did warn them.
About what?
At least
Look at
they're
Amy
empty.
studying them.
Applan Temple, unoccupied for centuries.
Amy Pond.
River Song.
River Song.
Doctor.
I'm going to be a professor someday, am I? Exciting.
Love it.
Spoilers! There's a thing in the belly of that ship that can't ever die.
Oh. Oh.
Now he's listening.
Yeah, now he's gonna
Looking
stay
on it
alright.
yet? Can you sonic me? I need to boost the signal so we can use it.
Can you sonic me?
Doctor, you sonicked her.
We have a minute.
Where are we up to?
Yes, the
Have
notebook.
we done the Bone Meadows?
What's the book?
Stay away from it.
What is it?
Spoilers.
Her diary.
Our diary.
Her past. My
Future.
future. Time travel. We keep meeting in the wrong order.
I promised you the equivalent of an army.
Oh, Jorah Mormont.
What do you know of the Weeping Angels?
Whoa.
The Angel, as far as we know, is still trapped in the ship.
You're still here. Which part of waiting the TARDIS till I tell you it's safe was so confusing?
Are you all Mr. Grumpy Face today? Is River Song your wife? She's someone from your future. The way she talks to you, I've never seen anyone do that.
Oh yeah.
She's kind of like, you know, heel boy. She's Mrs. Doctor from the future, isn't she? Is she gonna be your wife one day?
Wow. Did not expect this.
It's from the security cameras in the Byzantium vault. I ripped it when I was on board.
Byzantium?
Quality, it's 4 seconds. I put it on loop.
Oh, easy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh. Don't look away.
So you don't know who I am yet?
How do you know who I am? I don't always look the same.
I've got pictures of all your faces. You never
Oh.
show up in the right order, though.
That which holds the image of an angel becomes itself an angel.
Oh, there it is. That explains it.
Doctor!
Knock! Hard, go!
What does that mean?
Hold this.
Hold this.
3.
Kind of like Trinity. Dodge this.
That was good, yeah? It was, wasn't it? That was pretty good.
That was amazing.
River, hug Amy.
Why?
Because I'm busy.
I'm fine.
You're brilliant.
Nice.
Sometimes called a maze of the dead.
What's that?
Well, if you happen to be a creature of living stone,
Ha, nice kick. Wow.
perfect hiding place.
He doesn't know yet, does he? Who and what you are.
It's too early in his time stream.
Well, make sure he doesn't work it out, or he's not going to help us.
I won't let you down. Believe you me, I have no intention of going back to prison.
Huh. Interesting.
You all right?
Yeah.
No!
Fine.
Don't do that, tell her!
So, what's he like? In the future, I mean. Because you know him in the future, don't you?
The doctor? Oh, the doctor's the doctor.
You're so his wife.
Oh, Amy, this is the doctor we're talking about. Do you really think it could be anything that simple? Yep. You're good. I'm not saying you're right, but you are very good.
Oh yeah.
What's your name?
Bob, sir.
Oh, that's a great name. I love Bob.
Sacred name. We all have sacred names.
Sacred Bob. More like Scared Bob now, eh?
Yes, sir.
Ah, good. Scared keeps you fast. Anyone in this room who isn't scared is a moron. Carry on. Read it to me.
Love the lighting here.
They've got two heads.
Yes, I get that, so.
So why don't the statues?
Oh.
Everyone over there, just move. I'm gonna turn off this one too, just for a moment.
Are you sure about this?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god. They've moved.
Every statue in this maze, every single one,
Whoa.
is a weeping angel. And they're coming after us.
Jeez. Okay, oh no, not Bob.
Bob, come and see this.
No!
Angelo? Angelo and Christian are dead, sir. The statues killed them, sir.
Bob.
Oh.
Sacred Bob, it's me, the doctor. I'm talking. Where are you now? I'm talking to my. Yep. Shut up.
I'm on my way up to you, sir.
No, your friends, Bob. What did the angel do to them?
Snap their necks, sir.
How did you escape?
I didn't escape, sir. The angel killed me too.
What do you mean the angel killed you too?
Love the tone of
My
this
neck,
episode.
sir. It stripped my cerebral cortex from my body and reanimated a version of my consciousness to communicate with you. Sorry about the confusion.
Called you an idiot. Sorry, but there's no way we could have rescued you.
I know that, sir. And when you've flown away in your little blue box, I'll explain that to their families.
How about that? I like that. I like that.
No, wait for me. Go, run.
I can't. No, really, I can't.
Why not?
Look at it. Look at my hand. It's stone.
Oh.
You've got to go. You know you have. You've got all that stuff with River, and that's all got to happen. You know you can't die here.
Time can be rewritten. It doesn't work like that.
You've got to leave me.
Oh no, I'm not leaving you. Never. I'm sorry about this. Ah, see, not stone. Now run. Yeah, and you're alive.
God, I've got a mark. Look at my hand.
And you're alive. Did I mention?
Your teeth. Have you got space teeth?
Yeah, alive. All I'm saying.
Space teeth.
And the angels are very keen you should know before the end.
Which is.
I died in fear. Told me my fear would keep me alive. But I died afraid, in pain and alone. You made me trust you, and when it mattered, you let me down.
What are they doing? They're trying to make him angry.
Sorry, sir.
Well then, the angels have made their second mistake because I'm not going to let that pass. I'm sorry you're dead, Bob, but I swear to whatever is left of you, they will be sorrier. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Always.
You lot, trust me. Incoming. We have faith, sir.
Hmm.
Give me your go. I'm about to do something incredibly stupid and dangerous. When I do, jump! Didn't anyone ever tell you there's one thing you never put in a trap if you're smart, if you value your continued existence, if you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never ever put in a trap.
And what would that be, sir?
Me.
Ha. Ah. All right, folks. Now, see, that episode, that is certainly in line with the 11th hour, right? That is a great episode. It really is a great episode. And, before I go any further, Matt Smith, oh my goodness, I love him. I really love him in this role. And it's kind of crazy how fast he kind of settled into the role of the Doctor. His performance in this episode really made me feel like he's been doing this for years, right? So again, really impressive how quickly he settled into this role. I have no complaints. No complaints. I was on board since episode 1. I really enjoyed that first episode, and now a few episodes later, this is probably him at his best as the Doctor, right? I love how quickly I was able to kind of transition to this new Doctor, and again, that's great credit to Matt Smith and the acting on display. And speaking of that acting, that cliffhanger, yeah, Matt Smith really goes at that, doesn't he? Great little moment. One of the standout moments, even though I'm still early stages in the Matt Smith era, 4 episodes in now, that was perhaps the standout moment, or at least one of the top 2, top 3 moments in this era so far. Again, 4 episodes in, but still, it really stood out, that cliffhanger moment. I'm just loving the range Matt Smith is kind of providing in this role. I love those goofy moments. I love his mannerisms. I love how he kind of bounces off of different characters, be it Amy, be it River Song in this one. Though, it took him a bit of time to kind of, loosen up, because in the early stages, he was kind of standoffish. He didn't really want to get, tangled up here. Given that he doesn't really know that much about River Song just yet. But, slowly you see, throughout the episode, he starts opening up again, and, there is that chemistry. The chemistry is there. So yeah, I'm certainly excited to see more of this duo, River Song and the Doctor, in the next episode. That episode, it kind of had a short runtime. I believe it's at 40 minutes or 41 minutes. Yet, I thought the pacing was outstanding. I thought the directing was outstanding. Again, like I mentioned, it really, really kind of felt like it was on the same level as 11th Hour, right? Great episode. I thought that was more than great. You could see that they focused on this episode and perhaps the next episode as well. It's a 2-parter, right? So I felt that, some of the budget is certainly being allocated to this episode and perhaps the next episode as well. And I think it did a fantastic job of selling that really immersive film feeling, right? And you can see that there is some inspiration there from, other science fiction films. Again, I noticed that in some of the other episodes as well, that it is taking some inspiration from, certain type of science fiction films. Here, it kind of felt like Prometheus. Once again, I think I mentioned Prometheus just in passing in The Beast Below, but kind of felt like Prometheus, kind of felt like Alien or Aliens. It really felt like Aliens to me. A lot of the structure and the progression really felt like that. I think it was really fantastic how they managed to do all of that in 40 minutes, right? And again, the script was quite strong. A lot of strong elements in this episode. And I'm happy about that, because you see that Moffat brought back 2 of his creations, I guess, right? On one end, you've got the Angels, and then on the other, River Song. I mentioned her, but yeah, River Song. As you saw, I was incredibly excited to see River Song. River Song became one of the most exciting parts of this story for me. One of the most exciting parts of Doctor Who for me. So I was really excited for this moment. I didn't know it was going to come this early. But yeah, I was so excited. It really caught me by surprise. I mean, personally, I was much more excited for the return of River Song. The Angels, again, another surprise. I did not expect that one bit. So it was certainly exciting to see that, okay, they are being brought back in. I felt that they were much more effective in Blink, in that storyline. You see, the structure of this story and the grand scale of this story, they could not be utilized in that manner once again. So, in that sense, it kind of makes sense how some changes had to be made to incorporate the Angels once again on a larger scale. And, speaking of the large scale, the production design and the location shoots, really, again, really impressive stuff. Really sold it. You know, again, it really felt like a film condensed into like 40 minutes. And speaking of the production and the technical side of things, you know, the photography, again, continues to be a standout. Yeah, you know, it was noticeable in the first episode and it's continued since then. And of course, the setting of this episode really allowed for the photography to shine as well, right? For the lighting to shine. And, you know, the cave setting, you know, deep caves or, you know, long lost chambers deep underground, they always make for a fantastic setting, don't they? There's just something unsettling about it, right? So yeah, it was certainly quite effective here. And again, you know, some of the visuals are really quite impressive in this. That's always one of the challenges of being on a budget, on a television budget, you know, being able to sell something on a grand scale. And by television budget, I mean back then, around the time this was filming and being planned out. But again, if you compare that to now, I mean, it's a different landscape. Some of these streaming services, and just, you know, some of these, you know, major premium channels and their shows have insane budgets, massive budgets just for single episodes, right? Yeah, it's just in that era of television now that they're able to, you know, allocate that kind of budget to these incredible shows, right? That being said, you know, a massive budget is not a guarantee to have a hit or a fantastic show, right? You know, a bit of a tangent here, but like that new Lord of the Rings show from Amazon, the trailer. Now, you know, circling back to Doctor Who, around the time I was doing the specials, the Tennant specials before his goodbye, it was brought to my attention that, yeah, you know, they bumped up the budget for Doctor Who a bit at least. And you see some of that budget on display in this episode. But yeah, the crash of the Byzantium. So yeah, they've done it now, right? She brought that up in Silence of the Library. Well, yeah, now she's done it. Or they've done it. Or at least it's the first part of it, right? So yeah, you know, in that sense, I suppose I have another hint in this episode. You know, she did mention the Bone Meadows as she opened up that iconic book. You know, it's only been shown twice in 2 episodes or 3 episodes. But yeah, to me, it feels like this iconic prop or thing in the story in Doctor Who. But yeah, you know, these kind of things, this payoff, this is the type of thing that's always so exciting, right? Set up all that time ago, now it's happened, right? I've actually seen it play out, at least for the first part of it. But yeah, River Song, you know, of course, it felt a bit different. You know, River Song felt a bit different, and of course, her and this Doctor's dynamic is a bit different than her and Tennant's dynamic, right? And that's to be expected, right? Because this is both of them at different points in time and their progression, right? Now, you know, this episode, I mean, River Song in this episode, there's a lot of really intriguing stuff that's going on here. And, you know, there seems to be even some type of bond or a connection to this Octavian, who is played by Ian Glenn, Sir Jorah Mormont. So again, wonderful to see yet another great British actor that I recognize from Game of Thrones this time. And how funny that he's still dealing with stone men or creatures made out of stone. But yeah, you know, going back to this bond or some kind of connection, you know, inside, once they're inside, he kind of pulls her back, grabs her by the arm and pulls her back. Even that in itself, that he feels like he can do that, to me, that's quite telling, right? And, you know, her saying that she's not going to let him down. And then, of course, he posed that question, right? Does he know who you are, right? And, you know, he felt that if the Doctor was to find out or figure it out, that he wouldn't help them, right? So, of course, there's something going on here. There's some great setup here. More than meets the eye. I mean, of course, it's River Song, so there's certainly more than meets the eye. But yeah, there's something going on here too. Octavian and River Song. And, you know, she mentioned that she doesn't want to go back to prison. Right? So a lot of setup there, So it appears that it might be related, right? Her having been to prison and then, you know, Octavian mentioning that, oh, if he finds out, he's not going to help us, right? So something's going on there. Something happened. Did she do something that sent her to prison? And if the Doctor was to find out about this, he's not going to help them. At least that's Octavian's thought process on this. But I just love the dynamic that River Song and the Doctor have. Again, a bit different than, you know, Tennant's Doctor and River Song. But again, they're both essentially different personalities at this point in time, at different points in time, essentially. As of this point, she's Dr. Riversong, and he kind of slipped up, right? He called her Professor Riversong and kind of gave up a spoiler. She is an archaeologist, right? The first time I see her, though, of course, that's her at the end of her line, right? Because she does die, so the Doctor knows, right? Maybe that's another reason he's kind of standoffish, right? Because he knows she dies. And that's one of the main things he knows about her, right? But it certainly had an effect on him, you could tell, or Tennant's Doctor. It certainly had an effect on Tennant's Doctor. So I'm guessing some of that is clearly still there, right? It's carrying over. And, I love the banter this kind of relationship allows, this kind of setup allows. You see River Song certainly knows much more than the Doctor in this specific case. And that's a rare thing, right? To see the Doctor be in the dark about some things, and you have this individual here, quite an impressive individual, essentially an intellectual equal to the Doctor, who knows more than the Doctor about a lot of these things, right? So, you see that she kind of uses that knowledge to kind of tease him and mess around and, banter. But it's all in good fun, right? There's strong hints here that, that they might be married at some point in the future, that, there is something there, some sort of relationship is there, right? They strongly hint that in this episode. Again, could be a misdirect, but I feel like, it's really heading towards that. And you see that she knows him. She really knows him inside and out. And again, it kind of goes back to that setup, right? That they are meeting each other at different points in their lives, right? So as of this point, she knows so much about the Doctor, but by the time the Doctor gets to River Song, right, he'll know everything about River Song, essentially, or everything he is going to learn from these encounters, and River Song's not going to know much about the Doctor, right? And of course, it goes back to the silence in the library. She knew the Doctor inside and out. She knew everything about him. But of course, at some point, the roles are going to reverse, right? Because it's going to be the Doctor who knows everything about River Song, but River Song is going to be in the dark, right? Because it'll be her first time meeting the Doctor. And, in terms of her meeting the Doctor for the first time, or the first Doctor she knew, I think it's safe to assume that she met Capaldi as her first time meeting the Doctor, because, twice now I've seen her kind of comment on the appearance of the Doctor, right? She mentioned just how young Tennant's Doctor felt to her, even though he said, no, I'm really not that young. But to her, it felt just, Tennant's Doctor felt really young to her. That iteration, that regeneration of the Doctor felt young. And here she's calling Matt Smith's Doctor baby-faced, right? So yeah, I think it's safe to assume that Capaldi is the Doctor she meets. And there's a really great scene in the beginning as she's flying the TARDIS, and of course her TARDIS flying skills are on display, and she's using that, right? Again, that's being used for banter, and she is kind of one-upping him, right? Again, it's all in good fun because, of course, they care for each other, or she cares for him quite a bit. She respects him quite a bit. But, this situation certainly allows for this type of banter to happen, right? But yeah, she mentioned, I learned from the best. And this is as Amy asked her about, her being able to fly the TARDIS. At first, I thought she was implying, or it was being implied that she's, speaking of Capaldi's Doctor. But then, I loved Matt's, I love the Doctor's reaction to that. He's like, well, all right, I know, I guess I am quite good. But then she mentioned, oh, too bad you were busy or something, right? So it wasn't the Doctor. Someone else showed her how to fly the TARDIS, but of course it has to be someone important, right? Someone who has a connection to the Doctor, someone who has spent time with the Doctor, right? To be able to have access to the TARDIS, and so much so that they've learned how to fly it as well. And River Song considers this person to be the best. So I learned from the best, yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of great setup. And in that sense, I'm certainly going to go back to Silence in the Library and The Forest of the Dead. Because, I do want to kind of refresh some of the things that were set up there. Right, I want to make notes of it and kind of compare it to this episode again. The crash of the Byzantium was the one that really stuck out to me. The moment she mentioned that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. They mentioned that before. But I'm sure there's a lot of other great little moments in those episodes as well that I can kind of connect to this. And of course, great callback to him asking I mean, he's asking all of them if they trust him, but him asking River Song, "Do you trust me?" And she had a similar reply. I think it was the exact same reply as the two-parter, right, from Silence in the Library or Forest of the Dead. It might have been Forest of the Dead. Again, I have to kind of go back and refresh my memory. And I loved Amy's role here and how she handles this, right? There's not much, there's no jealousy at all, actually. It was more so playful banter, teasing, she's really teasing him about, this River Song individual potentially being his wife in the future. And, you see that even River Song is quite impressed by her deductions, essentially, that she is quick, that she is good. I feel like if this was Rose or Martha, there would have been a bit of jealousy there, but no, none of that here. Yeah, it was great. And speaking of Amy and Karen Gillan, yeah, again, just like I mentioned the Doctor being a perfect fit, I feel like Amy is such a perfect fit for this Doctor as a companion. There's such a fantastic chemistry there as well. To me, it kind of feels like two college friends or two university friends, right? The dynamic they have. Amy's not really being precious about anything. Again, she jokes a lot. She teases him a lot. There's a lot of really, fun and endearing moments. Calls him grumpy face at one point. And of course, you see that Amy is flourishing out here in this role as the companion. You see that she's a problem solver. You see that she's a quick thinker, that she's able to, be calm under pressure. I mean, that was one of the standout scenes of the episode as well, right? Again, I'm not talking much about the angels, and I'll get to the angels, I suppose, right now as well. But that scene inside that, I don't know, module. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What the exact term is for that, but she's locked in, and yeah, kind of a bit of a callback to The Ring. Or Ringu, the Japanese film. Now, personally, I don't really find the angels that creepy. I didn't really find them that creepy in Blink either, but the scene itself, yeah, it was a great scene. It was a great scene. Now, I say I don't really find them creepy, but, imagine actually being in that situation. You're locked in, and, this creature is coming out of the image. And of course, they explained just how that's possible, but it's coming out of the image and it's coming at you, and it gets really close to Amy, really close. Yeah, imagine if that actually happened in real life. I'm sure then I'd be a bit scared, right? I'd be a bit scared. But oh yeah, I certainly enjoy Karen Gillan as Amy Pond, and I love that I was able to just get right into it, right? The new Doctor and the new companion. Yeah, it really is the perfect match. I think these two together. So far, at least, I think so. And I love those moments of Amy kind of, just studying the Doctor and River Song, or mainly the Doctor, and seeing how he reacts to River Song. And again, it wasn't jealousy or anything. You see that she's actually quite into this. She's quite intrigued by this situation, right? And you see she's always got this smirk or smile on her face. Again, it kind of plays into that whole, college friends or university friends kind of teasing each other later. And, this whole notion of, the Doctor is running from his future, essentially, right? Amy can kind of relate, right? Because essentially she's doing that right now. She's on the run, essentially, right? She tried to get out of it or try to delay it. And I'm speaking of her marriage, right? She was meant to get married the next morning. But, she kind of got cold feet, and they kind of explore this in The Beast Below as she speaks to that girl, right? But yeah, she can kind of relate in that sense. Another thing I really liked about this is Amy and her red sweater, right? You see that it is quite noticeable. It sticks out. Even if, she happens to be out of focus in any given shot, you still notice it in the background, right? Again, it's red. It's quite unmissable. But, I love the use of that. It's deliberate. Right, you could tell it's deliberate, especially given some of the composition of the shots or the framing of the shots. Right, again, even out of focus, it's quite noticeable. To me, it kind of feels like she's being kind of set up as someone who is, I don't know, like an outlier, essentially, right? A noticeable outlier in that sense. And again, the use of red was quite fantastic in this. Since the first episode, 11th Hour, it was clear that they're using the blue and the red contrast quite a bit. And again, this does have that fairy tale element or feeling to it. Maybe she can kind of double as a Red Riding Hood. And, speaking of red, River Song's red shoes are quite prominently featured. I mean, there's one shot that focuses just on her shoes, right, in the beginning. This is before I find out that it's River Song. And then, of course, ending off on the angels. Yeah, you see some of the rules are kind of changed here. You see that there's no more, temporal displacement going on, no more feeding off of that energy, right? Now it's legitimate kills, like snapping your neck type of kills. But in that sense, I love how they utilized the gentle disposition of Sacred Bob, or Scared Bob, if you ask the doctor. Though that's a good thing, right? Only a moron would not be scared in that situation, right? But yeah, I loved how they used that. He's so gentle, yet they're using his gentle disposition to kind of put out these bone-chilling ultimatums, right? These really scary ultimatums and warnings and setups for what's to come. So, I really enjoyed that aspect of it too. So yeah, I certainly enjoyed the Angels a bit more, or much more actually, in Blink. It was just so airtight. That concept was just brilliant, wasn't it? Here, maybe not as, not as effective as Blink, perhaps. For me, I'm just speaking for myself here. But yeah, certainly a great cliffhanger, and I'm really quite excited for this next part. And one of the reasons I'm excited is because, it's going to set up the next meeting, right? It's going to have some more revelations, perhaps, through River Song, and give me a bit more of that puzzle, right? To maybe connect the dots. And yeah, that really excites me. They are going to part at some point, and I'm sure River Song is going to say something, or there is going to be some, great setup to really have me excited for the next time they meet. Yeah, really good stuff. So if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you're interested in full length or maybe even early access to the next episode right now, consider checking out the link in the description for the Patreon page. Also, there's a link for my Twitter page if you're into social media. I'm usually quite active there, so consider checking that out. Okay, so that's about it for this one. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.